So you can hear me fine, right?
Yep.
Okay. So tell me about the start of the situation as far as how you got in contact with CTC Contracting or Canyon State Restoration. Sorry about that.
Well, we had a flood in our home, and the insurance offered us $3,000 to do our flooring, which wouldn't even cover the cost of the flooring. So I started looking online for companies to give us bids, and Canyon State was the one that we one of the top ones that came up in Google, actually.
Okay.
And so I gave them a call, and along with several others, and got quotes from everyone. But ultimately, Dane made his case for being on our side and wanting to fight for us to be able to put our home back together and have the money to do that through the insurance. So.
Okay. So that was unusual. He was the only one, or was he the only one that mentioned that?
No, he wasn't the only one. Everyone gave different quotes, and they all varied.
Okay.
With Dane, he said that that the drywall needed to be fixed, and that meant that paint needed to be done, and he said that the cabinets were too water damaged to keep. And another contractor said that he was just going to fix up the cabinets and leave them there. Another one said they were just going to dry out the drywall and not replace it. And Dane said, no, this is damaged. This needs to be corrected. And so we went with Dane.
Okay, so
because we didn't want a house that was partially put together or put back together wrong.
Okay, I get that part of it. So he gave you a a proposal that he would find out everything that needed to be done and would do it. I got that element right, correct?
It's correct.
Okay, but the other twist was as far as the costs and how the insurance coverage would go, because you had mentioned the $3,000 offer. So I wanted to. That's what I was kind of asking. Were other companies offering to help you with that, or not at all?
Yeah, no, they were. And the insurance had said, if you guys are just going to do it yourself, we'll give you $3,000. If you get a contractor in, we'll work with the contractor.
Okay, all right.
We just needed to find a contractor that was the best for our family,
Okay.
and our situation. And Dane ultimately made the case that Canyon State would be the best for our family, and he did. He fought for us. So.
Okay. And I know a little bit about the results. If you want to make a reference to that real quick, that's, I think would be of interest to other people. The other thing I was going to ask about, and we can do this, you can do it in whatever sequence you want, is when you say he made the case and you selected him, just some background of what the factors were.
Well, because his was so different than what everyone was kind of, because Dane had said that we would have to move out of our home for 2 to 3 months, depending on how quick, things were ordered and things came in. And the other ones were saying, oh, no, you could just live here and there's minimal work to be done. And another one said both, said, well, you could move out or you could live here, but it was going to be difficult. And, he was pretty close to what Dane was saying, but he also didn't do a lot of follow-up. He didn't call to check on us and see, what we were thinking and if we wanted to move forward with him.
Okay.
He just kind of gave the bid and just kind of waited. And Dane was calling me going, hey, I've reached out to your insurance. We've started a dialogue. We've, all this. And I said, well, this guy's a go-getter. He wants to make sure he's on top of it and that he's certificate.
Okay. And then as far as the results, what was do you mind saying the ultimate amount of the coverage, or, make some reference to that at least?
Yeah, no, it was, let's see, I mean, they paid for us to live in a rental house for 3 months.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, so the insurance ended up covering that under additional living expenses, which actually made it nice because we did not have a kitchen. There was no sink, there was no counters. I mean, it was all ripped out.
So your option would have been to live in your own home with no kitchen for months.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not very attractive.
No, and and to eat out for that long.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they said that they would reimburse us for eating out, but what it turned out to be is they only would reimburse $30 a day.
And you have a family.
And we have a
right.
family of 6.
Yeah.
And three of them are teenagers, so they eat a lot.
Yeah. Well, the other thing. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, when I was submitting the receipts for eating out before we moved into the rental house, because it was about 2 weeks in trying to find a rental because our area has spring training and things like that. So the rentals were very minimal. But I would submit receipts, and they would only pay, $30 on, and even if I just take my family to Burger King, it's like $52 or something, and they would only pay $30. So that starts to add up, the part that they don't pay back.
Right.
And so once we were finally in the rental house, we could cook and clean, and they provided all the pots and pans and the dishes and the towels and everything, so we didn't even have to move twice. We packed up they packed up our stuff, and they put it in a storage pod, and then they provided things for us to use at the rental house, so we didn't have to move our stuff down there and then move it back and, things like that. So
right. Yeah.
That made it very nice as well.
I had a quick other question. I don't know if you guys had any pets, but I thought that would also be a factor. Do you?
Yeah, we have 2.
If you have indoor pets, I guess, particularly as far as the kitchen is what I was thinking,
yeah. Yeah, 2 dogs. So, and they're indoors. They're little. And it's Arizona, so you don't really want your dogs outside.
Yeah. I know it's been, relatively mild in the last couple of months. But anyway. So let's see. So you got I'll just say, you got a very big increase in coverage for what the insurance company covered.
Yeah, with the rental house, I got sidetracked there. With the rental house, I think the total claim ended up being about $60,000.
50? Like 50?
60.
60. Okay. So
yes,
from 3,000 to from around 3,000 to 60,000 of coverage, and I'll back up a little bit. This is the first time you've had any situation like this as far as dealing with property damage and insurance coverage and so on? Correct. Okay.
Correct.
We've
never had anything like this before.
Yeah, that's my assumption. And I actually have never had that specifically happen to me, but as I may have told you before, I've talked to several people who have had these kind of situations, and I have a sense of some of the issues that, are not unusual. Let me say, as far as your interactions with the insurance company, do you have any, you don't need to name which one, but do you have any comment on, was it surprising to you how that went, or were you, I'm assuming, just could you comment on that?
I
don't want to ask. Yeah.
Everyone says that people that we've talked to have been in a situation like this, said, the insurance is going to fight you. They're going to be horrible.
Okay.
They're going to make it very difficult to pay out on this claim. But I think that Dane reaching out right away and creating a dialogue, a friendly dialogue with our claims agent at the time, I think it made it very easy.
Okay.
I guess easier than what people were telling us it was going to be.
Great.
In fact, the agent called me shortly after Dane called her and contractor. He uploaded photos right away. He told us this is kind of what we're estimating. He says, I'll submit a full claim, but all these things need to be fixed. And because she was aware ahead of time, before he even submitted the estimate, she knew what was coming. You know, she didn't hesitate. So it actually made the whole process, I think, really easy. He kept the communication open with her, and we ended up switching agents because she had to take some time off work. But with both agents, even with the switch, Dane kept the communication open to where they all knew what was coming when he had to submit supplements or anything like that, and there was no problem getting things paid for.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. So overall, I never got what it was. Just some kind of leak in your kitchen. Was it a water line to the refrigerator or something else?
It was a water line to the refrigerator.
I asked that
and because we had. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the reason I said that is because Dane has told me that's extremely common. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we had the first generation Pergo flooring in here, which had the plastic underlayment, and so that water leak went undetected, we're guessing, for about 5 days.
Ooh.
And it was enough of a leak. It was probably leaking about a half a cup every 10 minutes. So that leaked from our kitchen to our dining room, to our entryway, to our family room. And the way our floors are laid out, it's a continuous floor throughout the downstairs.
Uh-huh.
And Dane fought for us to get not only that flooring to be finished or to be redone, but also the master bedroom, which had the same flooring, which was continuous.
Okay.
And the other contractors we talked to said, well, it's not really part of the main floor, so we can just put in a divider there, even though it is the same flooring. But Dane said, no, it's one continuous floor, so it needs to be all done so you don't have a patchy floor.
Right.
And the insurance agreed with him. So it's just little things like that he really wanted to make sure we ended up with a house that wasn't hodgepodge. He went out of his way to not just do the easy part. He stuck his neck out there to get us what he felt we should have.
And was successful, so that was all good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Well, I think we've covered, quite a bit. Is there any other comment you might have for somebody who's considering what company to work with for, their situation?
I would just add that Dane is a very nice man, and even if I texted him at 10 o'clock at night with something I was concerned about, he responded back. He wasn't just about getting the job done. He wanted to make sure I felt comfortable with whether it was something taking too long or concerned about the insurance or whatever. He would respond to me. He would, and sometimes if he didn't want to just do it in a text, he would call me, and be like, hey, all right, let's talk about this. Tell me what you're feeling, tell me whatever. And not all contractors would do that. So
right.
It was something that we appreciated, that he connected with us on a personal level.
Yeah, and you absolutely did not know him prior to this, right?
Absolutely did not know him. I Googled it, and I found him that way.
Yeah, I know. There's occasional people who find his company and then find out that they actually did know him because he's lived in, southeast part of the valley for quite a while.
I knew people that knew him from high school because he's lived here, but they don't know him. They're like, oh yeah, I think I went to high school with that guy.
Oh, okay.
But it's not anything like that. It was, when after he came to give me the first estimate, when he said, okay, these are what I think need to be fixed, I Facebook stalked him because I wanted to know, is this guy an honorable guy? And I feel like what people post on their social media kind of tells about them. And so I looked him up online to kind of see what he was about, and I noticed we had mutual friends, so I contacted our mutual friends, and they said, well, I only knew him in high school, but he was a nice guy then, so that's the only way we had any connection at all, but it wasn't really a connection,
Right, yeah, you had some mutual friends on Facebook, and they actually did know him in person, but from a long time ago, not well, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
and this is a twist. I don't think Dane knows this, but my 6th wedding anniversary is coming up in a month and a half, and I had common friends with my wife on Facebook. I'd been in the same room with her, but we had never, I don't think we'd even smiled at each other specifically, no interaction, but we had probably seen each other, and she commented on a friend's post, a mutual friend of ours posted on Facebook. She made a comment, and that led to us becoming Facebook friends, talking, and eventually almost 6 years later, we've been married that long. So that's that's my little Facebook reference there, an unusual one. I don't know if you've heard about a lot of those. Of course, 10 years ago, that couldn't happen, I guess. Well, I guess Facebook was around 10 years ago, but anyway, yeah. So
yeah, no, that's true. I think that before that, it was MySpace was the big thing.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't ever have a MySpace, but I do know people who use that. So anyway, well, given that you made a reference to being on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and I think wrap up the recording in just a moment. But I was just going to say, maybe you would be willing to share your comments on Facebook. So I assume that's something you're open to.
Sure. Your audio is breaking up. So,
okay.
I'm not sure if I'm coming through broken up, but
mostly I've heard you fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you want me to repeat my question?
Now I hear you fine, but it was you said it. Would I be willing to leave comments on Facebook?
Yeah, just share some of your experience. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. So I will be. I just turned off the recording. That was the noise you heard. I turned off.